What's up? It's Christy.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Rashana. And we are the 1000 Club.
Welcome to season 2, Real Relevant of the 1000 Club podcast. Catch us every other Thursday right here where you listen to your podcast, or you can check us out on YouTube. Follow us on social media at 1000 Club Life on Instagram and Facebook, and stay tuned for more episodes from your favorite crew, the 1000 Club.
Thanks, Courtney. As you hear today, we have a new episode of Real Raw Relevant, season 2 of the 1000 Club podcast, which will be called Be My Peace. We're going to be talking health and friendship with Trina, Chardline, and Brittanee. So excited to have you ladies here. And feel free to follow them on Instagram. Their handles are there. Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Listen and share on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your dose of podcasts. So welcome, ladies.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
I feel like that's such a Black girl greeting. Hey. We're not like, hello. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Right.
Well, it's so good to have VIPs again. We have these wonderful ladies joining us, and we'll go through and we'll do intros and everything. But we're going to start off as usual with a check-in. And so my check-in question today, since we're wrapping up a month, October, we're getting ready to move into November soon. Since our episode is Be My Peace, what have you done this past month to maintain your peace? And that can be in any way possible. I know we're focused on fitness today, but anyway, what have you done to maintain your peace in this month? So I'll start with our VIPs. We'll start with Trina.
Christy always got good questions, y'all. Okay, she's always coming through with the good check-in questions.
Yes. Introduction. Just myself. Okay.
Yeah. Intro.
All right. So my name is Trina. I'm Rashana's cousin. I am a mom. I'm a wife, and yeah. And I'm on my fitness journey. I just started. Back again. I've been doing it. You know, I go on, I go off, I go on, but this time I'm on. So I am maintaining it, and I'm doing well. So.
And then what have you done this past month to maintain your peace?
Maintain my peace. What have I done to maintain my peace? Mainly it's the weight loss, because I go on walks, when I don't have my son. So I reflect, I walk, I talk to God while I'm walking. So I definitely take a walk and just reflect, just have my peace. That's what
Yes. I got to hear more about your journey, because I'm just starting mine. So I definitely need encouragement.
Yeah. So my husband and I are trying to have another child. And when I went to the doctor, they told me that, if I want to, have another child, I would need to lose some weight. Mm-hmm. And it's not only that, it's, for my health. But like I said, I definitely have to be healthy. And my blood pressure was a little high 2 months ago. And I said, you know what, I can't, I have to take control, because also I went to Puerto Rico back to back. That wasn't helpful, because that food was so good. And I
heard.
So all those calories and all that stuff is like built on, and I was like, I look good, I look fine, I felt good, but my body, wasn't. So
I feel like I would justify that by saying like their food is better or healthier some type of way. And
that food is like it's like heavy. It's just so good. Like we have breakfast. The breakfast portions are huge, and like drinking, and it was just obsessive. So I just said, you know what, I need to take control of myself and like cut down on certain things. I live in a Haitian household, so I had to cut out rice. Rice was like, the main thing. I know rice. I had to because I would overindulge on rice, and I had to stop. So I've been rice free for almost 2 months. 2 months now.
Wow.
It was hard.
Wow.
That is awesome. I don't think I could ever get to rice free, but I'm going to like get some inspiration from you because
Yes.
It adds on the pounds. So I give it to my son. My husband eats it, but and my husband's aunt, they you need to eat. I'm like, no, I'm not eating that. I'm not. No, I'm cutting it out. So I do eat pasta. I love pasta. That's my weakness. But not too much of it. But water is my to-go to. Water.
Yes.
I drink water.
Yes, I got water in here too.
I've been drinking so much water. Like, I'm not a water drinker. I wasn't a water drinker, but now I feel like I want it now more. And it's weird how your body does what your body does when you're not used to something. I crave it more. And like I said, walking. I've been walking, like on these days. Well, it's getting colder now, but before, it was fine. I take my walks. I pick up my son down the street at his school. We walk back together. I have hills, a lot of hills. We walk up the hill together, and that's like my, what do we call that? My stairmaster, the hills.
Yes, that's some encouragement right there. You encouraged me, girl. Yeah. So, Brittany, hey, girl.
Hey girls. Plural.
Hey.
So I get my name is Brittany. Chrissy just said my name. So like I said in the beginning, I've been training for around like almost 10 years now, like 8 to 10 years. I lose count like every year. It's been so long. I just lose count. I do group training, personal training. I'm a stretch therapist. I have like my own company. I'm working on getting my own gym now. So fitness is my life. Like, fitness is like everything to me. And when you talk about what's my piece, definitely working out. Like, I could just, especially like I know some of y'all married, like your husbands or whatever getting on your nerves, I'll be right back. I'm going to the gym, relieve some stress, back to my piece. So definitely working out and praying for sure. I just know once I start getting more connected with God and hear him speak to me, that definitely is always like a stress reliever. I'm always just at peace once I usually pray and meditate and of course working out. So that's pretty much how I relieve my stress and be back at one with myself.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, Brittany is another person. When you need some motivation, go look at her Instagram page. You can be like, I gotta get up and get on the treadmill right now. So,
yes, her classes are fun. I used to go to your classes, Brittany. Clearly, I stopped, but but they are fun. They are fun. I did not stop due to lack of having fun.
You gotta come back.
I do. You on the? I do. I ain't got.
I'm always here.
Chardline, did I say that correctly?
Yeah, Chardline. You can call me
okay.
Chard.
I like Chard.
Okay. Yes.
I was like, wait, go ahead, Charlie. Introduce yourself.
Because I'm just tired of correcting people, and I will sit there and correct someone until they get it right. Because that's what my mama told me to do. So I'm gonna do that. So Chardline, based out of Boston, Massachusetts, more specifically Dorchester, Roxbury. Shout out to Dorchester, Roxbury. I couldn't even tell you where to start with the peace question. I'm gonna answer the peace question first, and that'll help me kind of lead into everything else. What brings me peace, or what I did this week, and what I'm going to continue doing for the rest of the month as I go into my birthday month, is let go of things that I can't control. I am a true Scorpio at heart. I need things to work the way things need to work. But as I'm coming into my 33rd year, I'm starting to realize, like, if I have to relinquish control, if I have to consult experts, if I have to talk to others about it, I will. But where I am right now with Chardline, you don't have control. There are things that you're not qualified to do. There are things that you have to lean on others to help you with. And there are also situations that are exhausting. So, like, instead of me going in a hamster wheel, it's just better that I find my peace in doing that. Which, yep, I'm going to raise that to some Haitian Babo cool. All right.
Oh, yes. Okay. Cheers with this bootleg cider, but y'all we good.
Another, y'all said drink, so like, I don't drink a lot, but when y'all said it, I was like, fuck it. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I might as well. So
that's okay.
It's okay. YouTube allows us to cuss.
You guys, like, it's after 5. I'm trying, y'all. Okay, so my fitness journey, I would so call it. Like, I've always been a student athlete. I played tennis for 4 years, and then I went on to play volleyball in college for 2 years. I was on scholarship. When I realized I wasn't going to be Serena or, be in the Olympics, I took a job at the mayor's office. That was fun. That's how I met actually a lot of my BLS people, which has been like really dope. Shout out to BLS on the phone, on the line. And my weight has never really stopped me from much, not that I knew of. I was never conscious of eating habits. Plus, I'm also in college. So you're just having fun. Or say I would look at myself and I'm just like, oh, I should probably lose weight. I would think that just meant going to the gym. I wouldn't realize that 80% of that shit has to be in the kitchen. And then also a huge commitment mentality, like, what are you going to do to sustain this journey for yourself? So fast forward to like 2015, I linked up with an old friend of mine. We started working out. I started losing weight. I started becoming addicted to that. So much so that, their feed or echo.
Yeah, I hear it now. I just muted. Let's see would that work.
Okay. Okay, I don't hear. Cool. So much so that I started working out 2 times a day. I started, and I still actually have this Tumblr page that I'm trying to get rid of because I know it's really toxic if anyone were to stumble upon it and just like follow what I did. But I lost like 130 pounds in 8 months. And that's because I was binging on diet pills. I was eating 900 calories to 1,000 calories a day in very small portions of food. And then I would go to the gym in the morning, like at 5, because, at this point I've graduated. I have no boyfriend. I have no real job except for my 9 to 5. And I have nothing to keep me busy. So then after that, I would go right after and I would do cardio in the morning. Then I'd do weightlifting at night. And I'll do that 6 times a week. And it got so bad where one day I decided to just walk to the gym. It was pretty cold and I passed out. I woke up in the hospital. So there was like a lot of dehydration, even though I was drinking the gallon of water that I read on some random site that told me to do that. But that it goes to show that like you have to lean in on experts and stuff like that. So I start to then go to a I wouldn't say a treatment facility, but I was seeing like a therapist basically for bulimia so that I can get back to eating normal and getting rid of a lot of the disorders that like the dumping disorders, the throwing up, the trying to look at myself in the mirror and be happy with what I saw. And that's where I started to learn about plus size blogging, which is what I do now. I do a lot of blogging and influencer digital content creation stuff around being a plus size woman in her body. And I'm just pretty candid about my experiences every step of the way. Um, that fitness part of myself really never went away. It would come in, come out. As I started to make more money, then the food taste started becoming a little bit more expensive or more frequent. As I started to date like football players, like, well, they just all happen to like play football, but they eat crazy. So like I was eating like they was eating. And then I went from like 212 pounds, I think at my lowest, to like 312 to at the height of the pandemic 375. So in between all of this stuff in and out, I was just like, trying to do what I can do. I took a nutrition course because I knew that nutrition was pretty much going to be what saved me before running in a gym because I noticed that was the piece of education that no one really talked about. So I let go of the weight loss pills. I let go of the subscriptions I had to Herbalife and all that stuff. And I was like, you're gonna do this normal. Um, I started seeing someone from Boston. Her name is Jody and Fuller. She does holistic medicinal eating. So I learned how to eat a lot smaller. I learned how to follow an anti-inflammatory diet because I was getting a lot of inflammation in my knees. So like I started taking in more turmeric. I went back to I still do my gallon of water a day. I can't stop that. And I can't stop running to the bathroom either. But I just continued that process. I really laid down on the pork, definitely cut back on the steak. I didn't have any real health issues. I just happened to be a bigger person who had inflammation in my knees. The inflammation stopped once I started training with my trainer, Naldine. She's amazing. We lost 56 pounds healthily together in 1 year through a pandemic. So I had to.
That's awesome.
Because for once it was done right. She has a HIIT/weight training style of training. So I appreciated that because the trainer before was mostly just weights. I actually thought my heart would be beating faster, so I could do carnival, but like it wasn't. My legs were just a bit stronger, and there was some chiseling and some inches that went in, but not so much what I wanted, which was my VO2 levels or VO max levels to really just like ramp up so I can start. Because when
sorry to cut you off, but you talked about the anti-inflammation diet, and that's something that I want to definitely learn more about just because I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I hear so many different diets that people recommend for PCOS. That's one of them. And so I think as we get more into our topic, like I can't wait to hear from all of you ladies because all of you are touching on areas that I need to know more about and like I need to incorporate into my lifestyle journey. So I know we're going to get more into it with Rashana. She's going to lead us in our topic. So I'm going to hit real quick. We'll throw it to Courtney and then Rashana. So what I've been doing to maintain my peace in October, mainly really trying to get or start my fitness journeys. So trying to be more active, trying to move more. I've been really motivated by closing my Apple Watch rings. So that gives me like motivation.
You girl, I get the notification. I'm like, go with me, go.
I get so happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hit all of my rings today. So that's been like, encouraging me to keep moving, keep exercising. I've been doing Grow with Joe. I don't know if any of you all have heard about her YouTube videos. I found her on TikTok. And so I've been doing that. It's fun. And I look forward to it. So that's what I've been doing because I realized that I was just in an unhealthy place. Like I was just not eating well. I wasn't really moving. I was just being really sedentary and that wasn't working for me. So that's kind of helped me to maintain my peace, to just kind of let the stress go. And yeah, I'm looking forward to November. I'm calling it Movember because I'm gonna be moving and grooving and yes.
Moving and grooving. What have I been doing to maintain my peace? So I do my workouts at 6 a.m. the 4 times a week. That's kind of like how I start my week and my day. So that has been really helpful in keeping the peace. And I've also been like really consistent with therapy. So that's been helpful too. So I'm going every Tuesday. Faye be getting me all the way together. So that's definitely how I've been keeping my peace. And some of the things I'm trying new workout classes like Pilates and aerial yoga and stuff like that. So things like that, I'm just trying to find new ways to channel all of the stress into a more positive way to stay peaceful, stay zen, and all of that. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think one thing I've learned is that, all of this starts with getting your mind right. People say get your mind right. It definitely starts with getting your mind right and prepared and disciplined to be able to go the course, because it's so easy to get to an unhealthy place, whether that's physically, mentally, or spiritually. Like, I just feel like it's just so easy, but it is so hard pulling yourself up out of that place, especially after, just disappointment and hurt and just, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if it's it's not the right word, but just like when you wake up and you lost yourself, and you're just like, how the hell did I get here? that is definitely a difficult place. So for me, what I've been doing to keep my peace, definitely therapy. Like Courtney said, I go every other week, sometimes every 2 weeks. Love my therapist. She's pretty dope. Changing the narrative in my head about myself, and really trying to reframe some of those different, I'm pretty hard on myself. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm like my hardest critic. So like really trying to change those criticisms to, things that are positive. And then in terms of working out, I have not started back working out. Going back to the office really has messed up my schedule for much longer than I thought it was going to. And trying to find the balance of now having to, add in 2 hours in my day to just travel back and forth to work, not to mention the hour and a half I need to get up earlier to get myself ready, like the 30 minutes I would like on the back end to like just, remove myself. Oh, look, I closed one of my rings. That adjustment or readjustment has been harder than I thought. So right now, what I have been focusing on is making healthy decisions. And so I have like totally removed the scale from my measurement of success. Let me not say I have totally removed it. For me, it feels like total removal because I'm a person that used to like weigh myself like every week. Seriously. Like, you know what I mean? And so like I have had to tell myself, okay, Rashana, you're gonna weigh yourself every quarter, which has been really difficult for me because I pass the scale and I'm like, I want to get on to see, especially when my beads start dropping. But I'm pushing myself to say, no, I'm not going to use the scale every day. I'm just going to make a decision to eat healthy, be healthy, and to move. And so that is my focus right now for the remainder of October. And then in November, I'm hoping to start aquatic cycling classes. Hopefully I can get in there because it sounds like it's like a class that fills up pretty quickly. But yeah, so I want to do that. And then aquatic aerobics because I really love the water. It's the one place that I feel at peace other than a dance floor. And so being able to, do something that's moving and that's helpful for me in a place that I find peace, I think will be a benefit. And then to Brittanee, girl, you're on my list to come to some of your Saturday butts and guts boot camps because everything I said, while it is going to help to, shed pounds, I want to make sure that I'm having the opportunity that, when I shed, I'm still toning, like I want to keep my backside nice. I don't want to just be like this, if that makes sense. Sometimes you just do cardio and everything just goes bye-bye, and I don't want everything to go bye-bye. Okay. I'm also trying to be with y'all at married kids, and everything. I need all of that to hold me up together through those transitions. So one thing I really wanted to ask you all is about getting your mind right. Each of you have talked about like different places you've been, whether, I think Christy said you were just in an unhealthy place. What did that look like? Trina, like I'm really interested. And I know I'm asking this question of all of you all, so I'm just kind of going around. Remember what I said. Trina, as someone, and really I guess you can relate to Christy too, like Christy being diagnosed with PCOS, Trina, you having to go to the doctors and like and them telling you. And if your doctors are anything like the doctors here, they're very candid, very direct. And that can be really hurtful, that can be like really hard. And I don't know if you struggle with guilt, but I'm really interested in the place you were in and when, when you were listening to them and you looked at your blood pressure and stuff like that. And then Chardline, just continuing, like, I'm really interested in, and this is probably because I know Chardline and I follow Chardline. Chardline and I actually have been in passing since high school. I don't think we really like knew each other. We knew of each other, but I have partied so many times at Chardline's house without her even knowing who I was because she used to throw the best like bashments. Like at high school, we could go up there. All the furniture would be moved in that apartment. It was like 2 floors, if I remember correctly. And we used to be there like all night. So yes, I'm really interested in that place, especially as in how do you get your head right in a space being a blogger, being a successful plus size blogger. Chardline has quite a few followers, and watching you from the beginning, I've seen the both sides of that. I've seen like when it's really high, and I've also seen like the horrible comments that people say when you're trying to get yourself right. Like, oh, so you don't want to be plus size no more? Like, I've seen those comments on your page and those questions, and so I'm interested in you getting your mind right. And then Brittany, you talked about just being a new wife and how get your mind right for that. And Courtney, I think you already touched on it, but you could feel free. So I just want to open the floor up to that place. Like, if you all could just take us back to that space that you were in when you realized, yo, I have to do this for myself. And what was that like? Anyone can start.
Well, Trina, you came off mute, girl. Go ahead. You gonna try to go ahead.
So for me, like, I've always tried to keep my blood pressure, low down. I think what happened was when Zaire, before my son's name is Zaire, before Zaire started school, we were like, pretty much, we were on the go, stuff like that. But I wasn't walking. I wasn't moving my body. I was always eating, and or going out to restaurants. So now that he's back in school, the school is like 5 minutes away from us. Now that he's back in school, like, I pick him up from school, and I even take a walk before. Like, I usually leave the house probably like 10 minutes before he gets out of the after school program, so I can take a little walk by myself, and then from there we walk home together, like I said. But when at the time when the doctor was telling me about my high blood pressure, I knew why. I'm not gonna, I was borderline, but I run late for everything. Like, I'm never on time for anything. So I was blaming because my heart was racing. I'm in the room. The medical assistant was like trying to check my blood pressure. So I'm like, well, maybe because I'm running late, my heart is, So I tried to calm down when she was doing the blood pressure thing. And so she's like, she said, I had my appointment with the doctor, and then she checked it again, and it was still, I'm like, yeah. So I had to, do what I had to do. Our family, diabetes and, high cholesterol, and I don't want to, have that. It's a history of my family. So I just said I need to cut back on some things, and it's for me because I know I indulge on a lot of things. So I said, you know what, Jen, I need to cut back on things. I need to eat salad. I'm not a salad person. But I eat it. I'm not to say that I enjoy it. I mean, Sweet Greens, though. Sweet Greens has some excellent salads. Really good. I like their salads. But like, I try to, smile and eat at the same time. Like, yeah, right. But but I eat it, and it's for my health. And my main thing, like I said, is walking. Like, I've done the gyms before. I've been in the gym. I lost weight, previously in the gym. But I think that walking for me has been working. And my mom, she's like, she's honest, very honest. Yeah. My mother, she's very honest. Yeah. So so when she told me that I'm losing weight, we went out to lunch I think last month. And she was like, "Oh, you losing weight?" And I'm like, and it made me feel good because, like, I'm like, walking, like, doing like on walking. I'm like not even walking. I'm like doing this, jogging, and And I remember the day. You got that
power walk.
Yeah, power walk.
Walking is so underrated too. It's like
it's for free. It's free. Like, you got legs, you just walk. Like, like you're walking. The day after my appointment, literally, it was raining. I told my husband, I said, "You know what? I don't care if it's raining." I threw on my shoes, my sneakers. I went out and I started walking. I was getting wet. I took like an hour walk, literally. And ever since then, I haven't stopped. That was September. Ever since then, I haven't. So, yeah. I've been on it. I've been on it. Like, it's hard, seeing my family eat rice and all this good food, and I'm like, can't outside of mind, outside of mind. I can't see it. Can't, you know what I mean? But I've been doing it consistently, and drinking my water. I also really don't drink like as often like I used to. Drinking definitely like puts on weight.
Yeah.
So my mother was like, "Well, where's your wine?" I'm like, I don't drink. I don't, don't drink like that. I just don't. If I'm like out, socially, I'll do it. But at home, I cut it out too. So
how does your husband, Junior, how does he like support your goals?
Yeah, we bought a juicer. And we've been like buying like watermelon and fruits and putting in the juicer and just drinking it like that. Like, it's nothing better than health. It's healthy. No, nothing added to it. Everything is just healthy. It has its own sugar. His own. It's not no sugar added, but you know what I mean. It has its own taste to it. But a juicer. He goes to Sweet Greens for me. He buys me the salads. Like he definitely supports my my health journey. I could tell you that one, because like before he was like, yeah, there's rice in the refrigerator. I'm like, I'm not eating that rice. Like, I'm serious. I'm not eating that rice. He thought I was playing.
I would have been looking at that rice like,
What is that right?
So it's like right now in the fridge, it's like a big old bowl of rice, and I'm not tempted anymore. Before it was like eat me, but I'm like, no, I'm not even gonna go there.
That's hard. It's hard to say no to Haitian rice. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, y'all know, like Haitian food and Dominican food is like my number 1 and 2 types of food, and I don't know if I'd be able to say no, because just the smell of it, right? It's just like you can just I can smell it right now.
I know myself. I know how I like to just pile it on, so I had to just cut it out altogether. I don't do small portions. I can't do small portions. I don't like the grain rice. I don't. That's supposed to be healthier, but I don't like that tastes, grain rice. So I rather just not eat it at all. So and I tried the Impossible Burger from it's not that healthy, but Impossible Burger from
you don't like it.
That's pretty good. It's plant-based.
It's a good transition.
It's so unhealthy. If y'all know how
it
much
is.
it's so unhealthy.
It's so healthy, but I feel like
it's a jam
to transition. If you can just do a couple of those just to transition you to what is healthy,
I know. So I don't eat those like that, but that's how I started. I started with that, and then I just so but I'm not vegan. No. I'm not vegan. But nothing wrong with being vegan. But I don't I still eat my chicken, stuff like that.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Brittany, can you jump in here a little bit? I saw you, I'm the same way with the Impossible Burgers. Like, I know that they're not good, but I do feel like they were a good transition. I think I only had like 1 or 2, but just knowing that I could eat a burger that was not meat made it easier for me to then be able to like make my own black bean burgers. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt it was a mental thing I needed to do. But can you just give
I mean, I definitely understand that, like, trying to transition between the two, like, I wouldn't even suggest going to that route. I get that, but I wouldn't suggest that, because if you think about it, they remove something but add something else. So they're removing the meat but adding more sodium, adding more soy, which is detrimental for Black women, which is why I tell all my clients, like, limit your soy. I'm completely vegan, so I don't eat like none of really that stuff, like, for real. I try to watch what I put in my body, for real, especially like with sodium, because with high blood pressure, like Trina was saying, like, that's really where it stems from. High sodium, like, and it just elevates your blood pressure, and that comes from that's why I hate when they try to like they say, oh my gosh, it's the healthier version. Come get this. It's not really that healthy because they're adding something else to the equation and taking meat out. Like they make the same, like if you go to Burger King, or I was watching a whole bunch of documentaries, they make the same Impossible Burger in the same factory that they make the regular burgers.
It's
like you
the same
still
grease.
mixing the two. Like, so it's not really saying like, oh, that's super healthy. Like you still make it in the same like grease fat that you're making the other burger in. So it's like you still contracted all that sodium and all the ingredients from the other burger. So it's not really that healthy. It's just what society and what America says is healthy, and they say to eat it, but you still adding fat and all that stuff to your body.
What are some other like fake healthy foods, I guess?
Fake healthy foods. Like Morningstar, that's a bad one.
I know
Morningstar is a bad
knows.
one. Like fake vegan meat, like all the stuff you see in the freezer aisles and stuff like that. Like all that stuff is fake. Like if you look, that's why I tell all my clients, look on the back. Like don't just go by the words like, oh, this is vegan. Oh, this is vegetarian. It's gonna be super healthy. No, 9 times out of 10 is worse than the original.
What about cheese? What about vegan cheese?
I don't like vegan cheese, to be honest. Like,
you don't like the taste?
I don't like vegan cheese. Cheese, in my opinion, this is just speaking just based on me. Like, I have gastritis, which means that I have like really like high gas bubbles in my stomach, and it prevents me from doing stuff like working out, stuff like that. So I have to limit dairy in order for like my stomach not to produce as much gas. But dairy, like I said, dairy for Black women, it causes more mucus in your body. It causes more it causes you to react to things more slowly. Like people don't talk about that stuff. They only like, oh, go ahead, drink your milk, it'll make your bones strong. No, like if you don't
up with that.
I don't know who came up with this. Like, drink your milk, it'll make your bones strong.
Not us.
Milk is disgusting, and it does nothing for your body. Like, but just add stuff, especially us for Black women. Like, we don't need any added stuff. We already have boobs, we already have hips, we already have all of this other stuff. Like, that's causing us to go into that route of being just enormous, like, unhealthy. So in order for us to get to the right way, we have to make sure we limit our sodium intake, limit our dairy, limit our soy. But it's just crazy the things that like my clients will send me, like, can I eat this? I'm like, did you look at the back first? Like, but most of them don't. Like, nobody really reads the back of anything anymore. They just read like the labels and stuff.
I think sometimes it's also discouraging because I know I've like tried to read the back of the labels, and I hear the advice, if you don't know what it is, that's probably not something good.
That is
but I just feel like on every label, I don't know what some of that stuff is. So like, what am I supposed to do?
What I would say is to cook yourself. That's what I tell all my clients. Make everything. I know it's time consuming, but if you make everything like you talking about vegan burgers, vegetarian burgers, or whatever, Black bean burgers, I make those myself. Like I'll go to my mom's house and we'll sit there and meal prep, and I'll make everything by myself. That is the most healthiest for you to make everything you can see by your eyes, what you're putting into your food is what is going inside of your body. Like, you cook it with beans, you got corn, or you got your quinoa or whatever. That stuff that's going in your body. If you go to Burger King like, oh, I'm ordering Impossible Burger, you don't know everything that's being put in. You don't know what factory they're manufacturing these burgers from. Like, so I would say everything you cook by yourself, the more color you see with your eyes, the more enticing it is for you to eat it. So like orange peppers, red peppers, yellow, like stuff that's bright for your eyes, you're going to eat it. So if you have bright food on your plate, you're going to be more enticed to eat it, especially if it's healthier too. So That's
So,
one.
Brittany,
Mm-hmm.
what about for someone who doesn't cook like myself? I think I know what you're gonna say. But also like for those who may not cook or may not have the time or that travel a lot, what would you recommend? And also I'm gonna ask this to Shar too, because you mentioned an anti-inflammatory diet. Like, what do you recommend for those who want to stick to a particular type of diet or eating lifestyle, but don't necessarily cook, don't have the time, and then may travel a lot?
I would. I mean, see, that's my life anyway. Like, I'm
Mhm.
constantly on go, like constantly. So me and my husband like will meal prep on Sunday. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. Sunday is my day to get all my stuff together for the week. If I don't meal prep on Sunday, I'm screwed. Like, I'm like, what the heck am
Mhm.
I doing? Like, so I would definitely say to try to pick a day that you're least busy and try to meal prep. But if you have like no time at all, I would find in your area like somebody who really meal preps. Like, because there's a whole bunch of people that I know here that'll
Mhm.
just be like, oh, I can meal prep it for you. You just pay me the money and then I'll meal prep. You tell them exactly what you want, what your goals are, stuff like that. So that's what something I would look into.
That's the
All
expert.
this, yeah, another expert. Like all these fast food and all this other stuff, like, no,
Leave it
that's
alone.
like secondhand, yeah. So I definitely found a meal prep person.
Yeah. Shar, what about you and your anti-inflammatory journey? I need that.
I didn't know that so many things cause inflammation, like
Mhm.
sugar, dairy, grease. Like the things that we love the most is actually the worst for our body. And every time my knees was hurting or like the inflammation was building up, it's when I removed that stuff, when I started introducing more water and ginger and turmeric, at least a shot of that every morning. And then I started to introduce more natural juicing, just like Trina was talking about, instead of the sodas and the juice, when I started to limit the amount of meat that I took in. What I mean by limit, like I used to be like that 8 ounce, 10 ounce, like per meal, which is very unnecessary. Now I've been able to bring it down to the 3 to 7 of white meat. It took a lot of education of what's in food, where you're getting your food. So eating out is not something like I typically do unless it's related to me working with a brand and they're like, please come to our restaurant or whatever, because people should treat themselves. I'm not trying to live this life where I'm saying stop everything, but I know exactly what's not good for my body. So I won't overindulge in it because I know what it feels like to have lots of energy and be able to just get up, move around, not feel so groggy when I wake up, and what it feels like to just really be stagnant. So to your point, Christy, and to Brittany's point, and I'm happy she spoke about a lot of this, getting a meal prep person and making sure you're finding a good meal prep person. Because I went through like two meal prep people before that probably cooked the food way worse than me. But because my life is just so involved, I do a 9 to 5. Then when I get after I'm done with this, I have to like film a liquor commercial or something like that. So I'm gonna have to like braid my hair real down, real quick, and then put a wig on it because I'm like, oh no, it's not gonna work for Ciroc. So I'm just like, listen, you find someone, you have to really help them understand this is what's happening. And it truly helped when I found someone who had a background in nutrition, not just someone who knew how to chef. It's great to know that you know how to cook. I love food, but you have goals and you have life goals that you're trying to get to. So finding someone who understands that and then them meeting you halfway with it, or at least 90% of the way, because you are paying for a service in the end. So my person, her name is Jodian. Jodian's really good, and my other person, his name is Ricardo. I have two depending. Ricardo, I like him a lot because he focuses on building healthier people, not just providing meals for the busy people or whatever. So finding someone who is focusing on building healthier people is great, and also flexibility. So one of my old meal prep people is the same thing every single day, and I think by Wednesday I was getting ready to trash everything because I'm like, not this again, not that again. So with Ricardo, he's great because like I did paleo for like 4 years, so the taste of breads, rice, and pastas has transitioned out of my mouth for a while. And as a Haitian person, that's very, very hard because we love ourselves all of our 9 types of rice that taste amazing. So when I was able to go from, well, actually, I do like quinoa a lot, and I might eat farro from time to time. But when it comes to stuff, I'm typically eating like cauliflower rice, and you can make it dirty cauliflower rice so that it has like good taste to it. And you really, I mean, maybe it's me, but it doesn't feel like I need that rice. But I know that my body's feeling a lot better. I'm not like getting as much cystic acne that I got from eating crazy. So my advice to you is, while I know that you may just be wanting to get healthier and possibly like shed some pounds and really feel like you're at your optimal place, start with the food and find that food expert, because that will continue to kind of lead the path to everything else. Getting someone like, and then also working out with someone that's knowledgeable is very, very crucial. I worked out with someone who did a lot of weightlifting, which I understand that's important, but I didn't feel like I was moving my body, and the weight was coming off very slow,
Yeah.
which was a key goal that I wanted to do. And he also was not well versed in nutrition. So, you know, you think to one person who's going to tell you you're going to lose the weight and you're going to do great because, you know, they are fit themselves. That doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So finding someone who really understands uh, different bodies, especially Black women's bodies, especially just women's body in general. Like, one thing is not going to apply to each person. And like, there wasn't like a real synopsis of what's going on with your body, what hurts,
Yeah.
what does your doctor say your limitations are? Are there any limitations? Do you have any food? You know, like, there was no discussion of food. And had I known about that, I would have talked about like, hey, so what about the food? And there
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting when you talk about bodies. Like, everything you all said is like so cool because number one of the things in therapy that I have been working through is like, I love food. Okay. I love food. I love to eat. I love to try new foods. Like, it's one of my favorite ways to experience culture other than music. Right. And so, but my therapist had me start thinking like, you know, try rewarding yourself with something other than food. Like, I'm the person, when I take myself on a self date, I'm going to eat. When I do something great at work, I'm going to eat. When I'm feeling down by myself, I'm going to eat, right? Like, that's the way that I experience happiness. And so switching that off to be able to like say to some of my friends, like, hey, why don't we go to a museum? Why don't we go to a jazz show? Why don't we, you know, go rent the, you know, bikes or whatever? You know, that has really been helpful because it's, everything is not centered around like happy hour, which we have here in the DMV, like, you know, happy hour or dinner. You know, it's like you're kind of, you're doing other things that get you moving. And so I appreciate that. The other thing that I want to talk about, well, two things. Number one is the image of Black women's bodies. I don't know if you all have experienced this, and Brittany, maybe because you're a trainer, you haven't, because you know yourself. But I find that like sometimes when I'm going to a trainer, if they're not knowledgeable about body, they assume that I want to have like an Instagram Black woman's body. You know, they assume that I want to be like, you know, and I'm like, that's not really my body type. You know, I see myself as more of like Takara without the big boobs, of course, but Takara's kind of like straight up and down, she has butt, you know what I mean? Chrisette Michelle, another person, you know, that's kind of like this, you know, like that's really my shape. I just want to look good in whatever, which as my shape. Did you all experience that either with a trainer or in your head, you know, where it's like you're seeing a goal for yourself or they're seeing a goal for you that is just really unattainable and should be unattainable, which also just further like messes with your head? Anybody had that experience? Courtney, I see you shaking your head.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was waiting for our guests to go because, you know, I wanted to give them some space to chat. But yeah, I would definitely say for me, I experienced that even, you know, getting back into my fitness journey. Everyone is oversaturated with what your body is supposed to look like what's supposed to be beautiful, what's supposed to be Instagrammable. And sometimes it can have you thinking that you should look a certain way, or, you know, you should work out a certain way to lose a certain amount of pounds to build your legs or your abs or whatever. And for me, I appreciate, you know, my kickboxing instructor, because she was just like, do you want to look good, or do you want to be strong? Like, because you can be strong and your body can still, you can have a regular body and still be strong. Like, you don't have to be curvy and very skinny and all that to have a strong body. And I think some people forget that skinny doesn't mean strong. Skinny doesn't mean fit. Skinny doesn't mean healthy. And even like curves and all of that and small waist, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's healthy. So for me, I had to get out of my head of thinking what my body should look like and thinking about more what my body needs and what's important. And yeah, I want to get back to, you know, lifting 300 pounds and all of that again. But at some point, I know my body is not going to look like it did when I could do that, but it's still going to be in good shape.
Right. Right. It's hard because that all of a sudden, like, every day is ab day, right?
Right.
Because you're seeing all these women. And then the other thing I had to remind myself too, and I think we have to do, especially as Black women, which is so backwards, right? Because it's like we set the culture, and then somehow we have allowed like appropriation to come and exaggerate it. And now we want to be the exaggeration, right? And it's like, and you're looking at all these women with all these teas. And I think, you know, on some level, some of those detox teas do work you know, definitely, maybe not long term, but like, you know, I don't know if it's short. Brittany shaking her head no. So I'm gonna let you talk. But, you know, it's like, it's what I'm trying to say is you don't even realize that a lot of those women don't even have those bodies, right? Like they have gotten work done. And this is no shade to anyone who's gotten work done. You know, do you love yourself, whatever you want to do with your body, do that. But what I'm saying is for women who are idolizing that or fantasizing about that or body goaling that, right? It's like you don't even realize that like what you're doing in the gym, which is what they're promoting, right? They're in the gym with the waist trainers on and all. Oh, I'm about to knock this girl's thing down. But, you know, like they're in the gym with the waist trainers, all that. They doing that, and then they're going to see Dr. whoever to help them out. Brittany, I see you shaking your head.
I also want Brittany, as she answers that, to talk about, because I think to Rashana's point, you know, figuring out how to fit it in your time schedule. I think that's also something too. Like, you know, you see a lot of people who can work out a lot throughout the day, but if that's not you, you know, how are you able to do that? I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw that in there because I was like, oh, she'd be good to answer that.
For real, I got a 9 to 5. I ain't got no trainer coming to my house.
No, that's completely fine. But just to piggyback off of I guess like what society thinks a Black woman's body is supposed to look like. Like, to be honest, like I'm super curvy, but I have to work constantly to maintain my figure. Like, if I just let myself go, I'll be just looking crazy. Like, but my clients, like some of my clients do, like if they first start out, they'll be like, oh, I want to look like you, or I want to look like XYZ. I'm like, please, no. Like, you don't understand the struggles that in my case, the struggles that I have to endure every day to even do that. I want you to have your own journey. I know several girls who have gotten laid on somebody's table and just out here promoting like, oh my gosh, come get fit. And I'm just like, what? Like, oh my God. It's like a slap in my face because all this hard work that I do to train other people, I'm just like, please don't look at this person's page and think that this is okay. And what they're promoting is also okay. And back to the tea stuff too, that's only getting rid of water weight. It only helps you poop, but it's only getting rid of water weight. As soon as you put that water back in your body, you right at square zero. So it's like, it doesn't even make sense to even do that. Like, the teas, the whole diet fast, like, I understand. I've tried them before too. Like, I'm no stranger to the teas and stuff like that, but it does nothing for your body, like, at all. Zero. Like, zero. And what was the other question you had, Courtney? You were saying something.
How do you fit it in your day?
How do I fit working out in my day?
Yeah, how does one prioritize?
Woo! So I do 2-a-days. So I have to wake up super early. Even though I don't want to, I'm not a morning person. I have to wake up super early to work out. get it in, then train, then like work. Cause I like I said, I'm a stretch therapist, so that's like my full time. Then I had to run a whole business in between that too. And then I work out. Like, so I train, like I just finished training about 6 to 7. Sometimes I have 2 to 3 groups at night. And then I work out after I train everybody else. So I make sure everybody else is good. Then I train. It's like a long day. Like sometimes I don't get home to like 10:30, 11, and they got to start it all over again. But all in all, like the journey is worth it. And it's like my journey too. So if somebody like you, how you ladies are asking me about my journey, I can really speak to the fact that I put in time constantly. I put in work constantly, like to maintain my body, like because I love my body. You only get one body. So you want to make sure you treat it as properly and love it as much as you can before it's not here on this earth anymore. So I just want to make sure that, you know, my body is good. I know what I'm putting inside of my body. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I feel like it's not enough time in the day though, to be honest. I need more hours. I need more hours, but I try to juggle everything. I'm a juggler, like a master juggler. I've been doing this for like a long time, so I think I'm pretty used to it by now.
Yeah, actually, speaking of juggling, I have one last question for you ladies, and it really is going towards mental and spiritual fitness, but I guess can relate to physical fitness. But it's interesting during this call, this call. I'm like I'm at work, right? During this call. During this conversation, I heard a lot of things around like support, you know, whether it's from your husband, whether it's from like a fitness app, whether it's from your friends, experts, whatever, therapists. What do you think is the benefit of asking for help? And as someone who struggles with asking for help, you know, why do you think it's hard? And how, if you struggled with that, you know, how did you get to a place where you felt comfortable to ask for help on your journey? And I can be fully transparent. I know when it comes to like weight loss, sometimes I am a person that doesn't even like going to the gym. And not because like I don't like going to the gym, like, you know, the smell or whatever. I don't know what people say, but I don't like going to the gym. But I don't like going to the gym because I'm like pretty self-conscious. Like I want to be like on my A game, you know? And so going to the gym, especially if I go with someone who is like better, you know, and I'm like struggling, like that makes me feel like even worse. Does that make sense? So like asking for help, or someone be like, oh yeah, come to this class with me, or come to this gym with me, you know. And I know Brittany, if she remembers, when I used to go right in the back until I felt comfortable, because it's like I don't want to be up front looking crazy, you know. So like I think that is also deterrent to asking for help on your journey. So like, how did you all get to that place?
I can go. So I was someone who used to go to the gym all the time because that's what I was taught that you had to do to lose weight. I went to all the Zumba classes. I did all the cycling classes. I did all the muscle conditioning classes. Like I liked that. I'm not someone who likes solo working out. So once I realized, I discovered that about myself, getting a trainer that I can afford was the biggest part of this hurdle. Finding someone that could not only understand what the type of language I need, like how I need to be communicated to. So like the first person babied me, the second person like treated me in a really militant style that often triggered some of my the whole like you're not good enough, or brought me back to that place where I was like, you know, binging on pills because I thought I wasn't good enough. So talking to a trainer and them understanding this is the type of style. I don't need you to baby me, but I also don't need you to tell me like, listen, this is how many niggas you about to get once you lose weight. Because that was also a style in which I guess they thought as a plus woman I needed. And I don't need
to see our faces.
Like, who is having that conversation?
I mean, some people, so again, some people are certified, but that doesn't mean like they're certified life coaches or have regular people skills. Like it's like anyone who has a certificate in something, like they went through the training, but they don't teach you that like some things you should not be saying, or like understanding that some people have built up backgrounds that you can't just enforce what you believe is what they need to hear. I was already juggling niggas at that time. So there was no there was
You
no
gotta juggle. Yeah.
Juggle, okay.
that was not my reason for stepping in the gym, Yeah, maybe it'll increase, maybe different ones will be around, but that's not what my trajectory was. I wanted to actually run a marathon. And like that's all I want to do was get to the point of running a marathon. So, having to switch out and find someone who got me. So I ended up finding a Haitian girl. She was $75 for 3 sessions a week. I had to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning, but she puts me to work. She puts me to work 3 times a week, driving like 30 minutes away, but she puts me to work. And right then and there, I was like, Chardline, you're not in it for a joke anymore. Like this is it. Like you could be sleeping until 8, then getting to work, but you're getting up, you're addressing your health concerns. You want kids, but you don't feel like you'll be able to carry kids in this body as you are. So you need to do something that's going to get you there. You know, wasn't told that I had any outstanding like birth issues or anything of that nature, but I know that I have twin nieces. I've been with them since they were babies to now they're 3. You turn around real quick, they're already over there. I have to be able to catch up with them or something could happen. So I knew I had to come down. I knew I had to build up something. So just actually 2 days ago, a campaign that I did with this running app, it's called Strava. They found me. I was just like on a track, a tarmac, and I was like, I'm gonna run because back in the day I tried to run and with my homegirl we did 3 laps around. We was doing good. Then these boys started to like mimic earthquakes as we started to come by. And then they started making noise like, oh no. So, I took it, that hurt a bit. I cussed them up, but like when I got home, I cried. My homegirl, she never ran again. I decided this year, like, bitch, just run. Like, the boys ain't even around. Go run at a track. Maybe they won't be there. Go run in a white neighborhood. Maybe they won't even bother you. So I went to go to a neighborhood where no one was there. I ran and I used this app that one of my running coaches from Boston, she's not my running coach. She was like, listen, you should use this app. They saw that I was running. Next thing you know, they contacted me, flew me out to DC to go film like a day in the life of someone who's an athlete. I haven't considered myself an athlete since I played, but they said like you train, you wake up really early, you have a dedicated way in which you eat, you block out all the noise and you make a conscious effort to run 1 to 2 miles a day just so that you can keep pushing yourself. If that's not what an athlete does, just because you're not competing, you train like an athlete. So, find the athlete in you. So that's what the campaign was called. It featured 7 athletes in youth across the globe. There was someone who's a seasoned cyclist, someone that was a swimmer, people that don't look like your typical athlete, but people who grind because it's what they want to do. And running is the only thing that I wanted to ever do was to get back on there and run that marathon. And I still do believe while running, I don't think is always the best thing on my body, especially as a bigger person, because it's now starting to catch up with me. I know that I have the aptitude to do more. So to your point about finding that extra time, to that point of really like sculpting what getting better is going to look for you, you have to want it. Like you have to understand it's not just a physical, like how you look anymore. It's not just a mental thing, but knowing that there's long-term benefits that'll improve every outcome of your life. Like when after I run, mental clarity, after I work out, I know that I feel really good. I have that energy. And I know long term, when I want to have kids, I'm going to have all of that because I've been working to get there. But I couldn't do it like in a space of being like lazy, eating crazy, or not mindfully eating, listening to people who told me like, you wouldn't be able to lose the weight, or to my point of being someone online, people
Right.
always telling me, I lead I wouldn't say a nation, but a lot of plus size women, and my message has never been like, stay fat and be only fat. Like, that's not it. I want you to find beauty in who you are. I don't want you to feel like you have to look like someone else to be beautiful. I don't want you to have to feel like you got to starve yourself like I had to do to be beautiful. You should love yourself through every step of your life. Just be healthy about it. So I had to come to learn that this body is not healthy in this size because it hurts, because it can't perform, because it can't go the distance, because I'm turning 33 and I feel like I'm 50 some days. So I had to put it in my mind that what healthy looks for me is going to have to be come down. It's going to have to be continuing to run and moving my body. It's going to have to be limiting the sugars, the oils, the different things that cause inflammation, and be okay with that, because like Brittany said, we only get one body. It's not like we get to go to DR and ask for a brand new immune system, a brand new set of knees, you could ask for some ass and tits and shit, but like, what's the point of asking for all that if your knees is like falling apart or your hips won't move, or like you can't even ride dick no more? Like, you got to think about it.
You got to think about that. You got to think about that.
Think about it. Like, that's real. That's real. That's real. I still think you should do a shoot. I think I told you that recently.
Yeah. It's the time.
Do a shoot. It's about loving yourself through the journey.
Yes.
Yeah. Like even another step. Like it's always going to change. Like I said, fitness journey, health journey, even without the fitness, just trying to eat better. It takes a mental toll on yourself, takes a mental toll on your partners who were used to you being one way, eating one way, or living a certain lifestyle, drinking a lot, doing all that shit that was real lazy. Like, I have friends who I had to let go along the journey because like all they want to do is chill and smoke and eat. Like, sometimes I'm like, how about we just not do that today or ever? Because like, I have a goal, but they're like, oh, I hear you, but like, you always have these goals and then you go back to this weight. Like, you need to keep people, like my mom's that way, but she's also really Caribbean. So a Caribbean mom's sage wisdom is different. You just let it ride. You let her and her stuff ride. But at the same time, it's like some people just feel, and as to why I'm not friends with them anymore, like they just feel Chardline's been trying to do this and it didn't work. But like, Chardline is working on herself every day. Not everyone's perfect. So this is just the stage I'm at in my life, and it feels good. And getting rid of people who don't support that, who don't understand I don't want to eat here today, or who don't understand I don't want to go to the party because I'm more than likely going to like throw back a couple of shots, then go eat Chinese food. Like, having people who understand like this is the new wiring that I have to commit to is important, because having a husband like Trina's husband, like Junior, who's out there like really like, all right, this is what my wife is doing. So, I will, if even if it doesn't ascribe to himself, he wants to make sure that his wife receives that type of, balance. So I think it's important to keeping like real good people around you with that same mental fitness and that spiritual fitness that you're trying to lead yourself on.
Yeah, grown up Caribbean gives you have to have a whole different type of mental fortitude. But one of the things you said was like your friends and losing friendships, and we talked about that in our last episode. So if you haven't had a chance, go back and watch episode 4 with Shelly Sunshine. Shelly, Shelly,
a tongue twister.
Sunshine, right? I guess I've never said that out loud. I've never said her name out loud. Yes, go back and watch episode 4 where she talks about, that there is no healthy relationship that will break because you set boundaries, right? And so if you're setting boundaries and people cannot support you, and even some of those digs, it was like their projection, like, oh, when you lose weight, you're going to look like this. When you lose weight, you're going to get all these men. When you lose weight, you're going to get that. A lot of that is projection. A lot of times, just like, I don't know if you all are on dating sites, you have men that go in there and they specifically look for big girls, and they're like, they think that because you're a big girl, like your self-esteem is low, and it's crazy. It's crazy how all of that is really just projection and preying on that. Trina or Brittany, do you all have anything that you all would like to add to what Charlene said?
Yeah, Char touched on a lot of things. I really liked it. Especially like, with the society today, like all you see is BBL. Everybody want to get a BBL. You know, and it makes it harder for you. You know, trying to do it natural, and then you see like, you know, and it's like, wow, you're trying to like, you know, you don't, not to say you want to get there, you know, but it makes it like, you know, harder. And it's like, oh wow, like she got a skinny, and then and they don't even tell you, they lie, you know, like, yo, I was working out, I was doing that detox, the green tea, the tummy, what do you call that? The
flat tummy tea.
Right. You know, they were doing that. And I'm like, you know, you believe at first, you believe it, but I'm like, your belly button don't look the same as mine. Like, it is like, where's your belly button?
It's the belly button.
Between what you say and all of this, I'm crying, okay? What you say, Chardline?
I said, how cheap are these surgeries going for that everybody and their mom could just kind of walk out of nowhere and come back out with this, like, sometime of body top, sometime of
stimmy checks.
Exactly.
Oh,
the stimmies for the stimmies.
I was doing the wrong things, man. I was doing the wrong things.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, you know, there's pressure, and then, you know, and not to say, you know, this, you know, the pandemic, everybody, you know, we all got the stimulus. I feel like people were doing a lot with that stimulus. They were getting them BBLs. They was going to Dominican Republic. They were going, and like I said, if it's medically necessary, then, you know, if you know, you have to get it, then you know, gastric bypass with the sleeve. Okay, you know, that's your health. You know, it's very serious. You know, you can die if you don't get it, and it's, you know, you need to get it for your health. But just to do it, you know, because you want to look a certain way, and it's like so dangerous at the time. Paperwork, God forbid, you know, like you flatline, you know, it's dangerous. And for me, it's like, I don't want to get cut open. Like, I mean, that's just me. I'd rather just do it the natural way. Like, you know, like it takes a little bit longer, but, you know, I'm not risking myself.
Yeah, Christy and I actually know someone who's had one, and she's had a lot of work done, and it actually got infected, and it's like a lot going on.
Y'all should see our faces. We're all like,
it's not great.
Yeah, and it doesn't even look. Some they get it done, doesn't look good. So it's like, what was your point? Like, why would you even go through that and it doesn't look good? Like, yeah. So anyway, as far as like, you know, my husband, like, I had to really tell him, like, I have to be serious, you know, because at first he didn't think I was serious, because I always say I'm gonna lose weight, and he's like, yeah, right. So, you know, we were going out to restaurants, we were still eating like heavy and things like that, and, you know, and I had to, you know, hold myself accountable. I had to be like, you know, this is what I want to do. I have to stick to it. And he saw it, you know, and he's the type of person where he doesn't really tell you, you know what I mean? Things like that. But he knows I'm losing weight. He just won't tell me because he knows I'll get gassed. So he doesn't tell me. He doesn't tell me anything. So every time I be like, am I losing weight? You see? And he's like, But
gas me. Gas. Gas. All the gas.
Right. Because he knows I'll get gas. So he be like, yeah, you look good. I'm like, okay, you know, I have to ask, you know, but yeah.
Brittany or Christy?
Can you ask the question one more time? We talk about so much stuff. Like,
we did.
What do you want me to like?
Whatever you want to. The initial question, and I actually think you answered first. I think you kind of started the question off, so maybe that's why. But I was really asking about like, really the mental and spiritual, I guess, preparation that you have to even ask for help.
Oof, yeah, it's even hard for me to ask for help. Like, I think it's my upbringing. Like, you know, if you raised by a strong Black mom, they gonna be like, no, don't ask nobody for help. You independent. You don't need nobody's help. And so that has always been my mindset. And my husband gets super upset. Like, if he sees me clearly distraught, but I won't ask for help. I won't say, hey, can you like rub my back? Something like to kind of relieve some stress. I won't say anything. So asking for help has been super, super difficult for me. but in the sense that you need a strong team. Like it's just you just need either like a small group. Like I have a small group of friends, and piggyback off of what Shar said, like with the friends aspect, like I've lost plenty of friends or my health fitness because all they, like Shar said, all they want to do is drink, smoke, and eat, and I don't have time for all of that stuff. I mean, of course, like I dib and dab, like I still drink, I still like go out and eat sometimes or whatever, but not all the time. And that stuff messes with your mental, like what you put into your body, like it makes you more sluggish. You don't want to do nothing. You just want to lay at home on the couch and eat more, like, and then that's when the blow up happens. So asking for help is, in my opinion, it's hard, but it's super important to do. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for real. That's pretty much it for real. But definitely.
Yeah, so Christy actually asked for help, I guess, at the beginning of this episode. Christy, do you feel like you've had your questions answered? What has been
Yes.
hard for you, maybe? And I don't know if it's been hard, so I don't want to assume that, but has it been hard for you to find answers or connect with people that are on journeys to better or different diets, motherhood, like all the things that you're like looking for?
It hasn't. Well, first off, let me say y'all have definitely been very motivating and encouraging because I am kind of starting my journey. Let me just say, since the world opened back up, I was like traveling more, going to more stuff, taking more pictures. And when I went and looked at those pictures, I was like, whoa. I was I would let myself go a little bit. And so, just from what I was used to, and just background, I got married in 2019, and I lost weight for the wedding. And then after the wedding, I went back to just eating whatever I wanted. Then the pandemic happened. So I gained probably about 30 pounds over 2 years, which is really unhealthy. And so I'm now trying to lose that weight, but also get to a place where I feel healthier. I think one of the questions Rashana asked was like I how we kind of got to a point where we felt unhealthy or knew we weren't healthy. And for me, it was I was just more sluggish and fatigued. I couldn't really focus. I didn't really have like the mental clarity that I felt like I needed to have throughout the day. And I just didn't feel healthy. I just didn't feel good. And then, like I said, I had the physical representation of this unhealthy state that I was in. And so you all have just really kept like motivated me to just keep going to I've been still kind of eating what I want, but trying to do better. And so I do need to be better about cutting out the sugar. I know that that's not good. I'm a sweets lover, but I do not need to be eating tiramisu and cookies and ice cream like 3 times a week. Maybe like in small portions, moderation, but just doing better with my diet and the tips that you all gave with the meal prepping. I'm definitely going to take that. So I definitely, this has been, like I said, very uplifting for me. I do feel like even in Chicago, like I have people where I have, gone on walks, or we've done like a pole class, or we've done different things to like get some type of physical activity in. So I do feel like I have people here, but it's all about your mind, right? And you being in the right mindset to make the changes you need to make. So I do feel like I have the support, but I'm a person who definitely needs accountability. I'm a person who does better when I am working out with someone. And I do better when I just know that there's people like along the same journey as me. So it's helpful that we have this today. I think in the future we'll have some type of way where we can all be accountable in the 1000 Club. So look out for that. But this has been good. I've been really uplifted.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are those turmeric and ginger shots? And I think I might have, I don't know if they ship or where you can find those. Brittany, if you know someone in this area, since we live in the same area, I'm definitely going to connect with you about the meal prep, because I've seen some meal preps, but like Chardline said, they make the same thing every single week. That is not going to work for me. But definitely, you know, the meal prep and the shots, I'm looking forward to that. Because I need to keep my mega knees. That's how I know. That's like my biggest fear. My biggest fear is to lose my knees. Okay. Like, I have really good knees and I cannot lose the knees. That's all.
Yes, this conversation has been amazing. I think we've learned so much about just journeys in general. And I think you ladies sharing your journey with us and sharing your tips and expertise has been amazing. So we usually do a giveaway takeaway, but this time I'm going to ask everyone to do a very one sentence, not long, just one sentence, positive affirmation. Just a positive affirmation that you either feel from your journey or that came from this conversation. Before we close out, so I'm gonna go in the little box that's on my screen, and I see Rashana's first. So I'm gonna kick it. Yeah, I know. You came off mute too, so I was like, boom, there you go. You're on it.
I feel like hoping it wasn't me. I feel like it was like Hunger Games, you know? It's not Hunger Games. What's the one we watching? Squid Games now? Like
Squid Games.
No, that's not funny. But my affirmation is always that I am light and I can do this. I will relate. That is my affirmation.
Okay. Trina is next.
My affirmation is just to stick with it and don't lose hope.
Yes, very straight to the point. Okay. Christy?
My affirmation is I am capable of doing anything I put my mind to.
Brittanee?
My affirmation is that I am strong, but not just physically strong, but also mentally strong.
Yes. Char? Who's been telling me that she's popping in the chat, okay? Just so y'all. I said you've been popping in the chat, okay? Just ready for listen.
My affirmation is don't put off what you could do today where you may not have a chance to do it tomorrow.
Yes. And my affirmation is it is my journey and I matter most. So put me first. That is my affirmation. So with that said, we had such an amazing conversation. I feel like we still had so many questions that we did not get to, so many topics and other things that we didn't talk about. So we definitely are going to have to revisit this topic again and maybe have another part 2 with this conversation, because this was really, really, really good. So as we close out, is it okay if we just have our guests kind of share their Instagram on the podcast for everyone? Because I know we talked about Boston and DC. So if anyone's listening in those areas, definitely reach out to some of our guests and listen about their journey. So Trina, I'm going to go ahead to you, and then Brittanee, and then Char to share your Instagram so everyone knows where they can follow you.
Sure. I'm on Instagram. My name is Mrs. Trina Paul.
Very simple.
I'm it's also underscore, right?
Huh?
I was saying for Trina, it's an underscore, so people know.
My bad. Underscore Mrs. Trina Paul. There we go.
So I'm in the Washington, D.C., Maryland area, and my Instagram name is Be Fit, Be Well.
Hi, I'm in the Boston area, Dorchester, Roxbury to be more specific. And across all social media platforms, I am Chardline Chanel.
Yes, and Courtney and I are laughing because I just told her how Amanda Seales did when she did her stand-up. I think it was Smart, Black, and Funny. I think that's what she named it. She said her father is from Roxbury, Boston. And so for those of us that are from Boston, no one ever says that.
I was like, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes,
I was like, when did
that's why every time you say Roxbury, Georgia,
in Boston, not nobody in Roxbury, Boston.
Yeah, my father said, my father's from Roxbury, Boston. I was like, oh. That's
so funny. So funny. So thank you, ladies, so much for this conversation. And for our listeners, our next episode drops November 11th, and our episodes are released every other Thursday. You can catch our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. You can watch us on YouTube because we got it together. So you want to see our pretty faces. So check us out on YouTube at 1000 Club Life. Make sure to subscribe, leave us a review to help our tribe grow. And with that said, thank you, ladies, again for this. This was awesome. Oh, and it's on the screen. Rashana's giving me the cue. If you haven't signed up for Hoodie Season Volume 5, we are going to be live in DC. Actually, next weekend. I got to get my train ticket. Next weekend in DC, we'll be live. So go to our Instagram at 1000 Club Life. Click the link in our bio. Buy the ticket. Support a good cause. Rashana mentioned earlier, it's supporting the Hustlers Guild, which is an organization in the DMV area. So make sure you get on that and do that and support the club. Okay, come out and see the 1000 Club. And we also have, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, to the From Brunch to Lunch, which is going to be Saturday, January 8th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can go to our link as well at the 1000 Club Life on our page. You can click on the link and purchase your tickets. The full brunch, which is limited. So if you want to get the full brunch, okay, you got to get on these tickets now. It's $105. And if you want to do it virtual, for a virtual launcher, it's $75. And you can also go to at Vocal Action LLC on Instagram and click on the link in the bio to purchase those tickets as well. I got it all together. All right, y'all. With that said, this season, Real World Relevant, make sure you follow us at 1000 Club Life. Check out our episodes. And with that, we are out.
Bye.